Hey everybody, I'm Sierra,
And I'm Ben.
and welcome back to another episode of The Unsolved Couple, where every week Ben and I recap one of your original gateway drugs into true crime.
Unsolved Mysteries. Cool. So they're doing really good this year.
Who's doing really good this year?
The Colts.
Oh, that's good. You guys heard it here first.
Are we recording?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, you said you were starting over.
I did start over, and then you started talking about football again.
Well, you asked what I
I
was
asked
looking
what
at,
you were looking at.
and I was telling you the Colts.
That's good. Anything you want to share about the Colts with us?
They're 6-1. They're gonna win today, so they're 7-1. It's big.
7 wins, 1 loss.
Yeah. Last year we only won 8 games, so
8 games?
yeah, out of 17. So we're
Oh.
better than we were last year.
Well, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Hey,
Maybe they'll win tomorrow and not win, or today and not win another game.
why you gotta be like that?
All right, we're back from Disneyland.
Yes, we are.
How was our trip?
It was good. It was a lot of walking and
It
a lot
was
of
a
people
lot of walking.
and a lot of people.
Is there ever a downtime at Disney
I
anymore?
don't think so. I think it's over.
I think when you pay this much money, people do not care if they take their kids out of school or
Yeah.
yeah. I can't imagine being there on spring break or summer vacation because it was
I don't think it matters.
the park was not anywhere near, I think, capacity or sold out or whatever, and there's still a lot of people. But we had a great time. We love Disneyland. Our kids are at the age where we just got after it.
Yeah, but they also they're at the age where they were tired. It was 6 o'clock. And we've been going for 10 hours.
Yeah.
We're tired. Let's go. We're done for the day.
Yeah, that was nice. Is that no one felt the need to be there till midnight every night.
Yeah.
So,
And
all
that
right.
was done.
Well, we are excited to be back with you guys. Today we are recapping season 3, episode 15. Oh, and happy Halloween. It's the week of Halloween.
I know. I think
Do, 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 do,
Hey,
do, do,
Sierra's
do,
probably
do,
feeling
do,
stressed
do, do,
because
do.
we're recording 2 days before this episode is about to drop.
Yeah,
because
you
we've
guys,
run out of
I don't
spares.
prepare a lot of aspects of my life or plan a lot of things ahead, but this is my baby, and it is one thing that I have been very good about having 2+ weeks.
You're OCD about it.
Yeah. And I have 2 episodes written and prepared.
I just did mine this weekend.
Yeah. So I'm feeling a little anxious. Hopefully we'll get on top of it. And if not, I do have a couple backup plans. I reached out to my friend, Kylie, who is the host of Primetime Crime, and she does cover some unsolved cases that were also featured on Unsolved Mysteries. And I asked her, hey, if we can't get caught up on things, can I, borrow an episode for a week and feature it? So if in the near future you hear that, just know that I'm dying inside, but everything's cool. And that for the first time in ever, I'm actually the one prepared.
I'm not.
All right. Before we dive into today's episode, don't forget to follow the show wherever you're listening. And if you enjoy what we're doing, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review. It helps more people find the podcast and keeps us bringing you more of these mysterious cases. And make sure to follow us on social media, Unsolved Couple Pod at Instagram and TikTok. We have Unsolved Couple Pod Facebook discussion group on Facebook. Yep. And you can email us at unsolvedcouplepod@gmail.com. All right.
All right.
3 stories today.
Yippers.
So Ben only had to prepare 1.
Yippers.
So I'll get us started.
That's probably how it's going to be the next couple weeks.
Yeah. It is probably, and I just accepted that that's how it's going to be. So,
What just let's just make this clear. It's not because work is absolutely bonkers for me
mhm,
right now. I'm in a training and it is wild. So there's actually I have a much less free time
mhm.
the last.
We'll follow up in a week and find out how much sports though he was able to keep up on during the week.
I haven't got to really watch any of the World Series. I didn't get to watch too much baseball last week.
We were watching baseball last night at a Halloween party.
That's because it was just on. The TV was there, so my eyes went to it. Trust me.
All right, so I'm going to tell you guys a story about a man named William Bishop.
This one is wild.
It's wild and awful.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's that it is a horrific story. It's just a wild
it is a wild
story.
story. It's one of those stories that I think if we saw it on a movie or written in something, we would think, well, that it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is an awful story, but I guess I was really surprised to hear it on Unsolved
I
Mysteries.
was too.
But
It's kind of a dark one for Unsolved
yeah,
Mysteries.
it is.
So it began on March 2nd, 1976, in the quiet woods of Columbia, North Carolina. There was a state park ranger. I can't say the word ranger without thinking of Toy Story.
Oh, Space Ranger.
Ranger, yeah. Responding to a small brush fire, he came across something that would haunt investigators to this day. As the flames died down, this man found a gas can, a shovel, just two things you don't want to find in the woods, and unfortunately, a shallow grave that was still smoldering. Inside were five partially charred bodies of three young boys and two women. At first, police had no idea who these people were. There was one clue. The victims' clothing had labels from expensive department stores in Bethesda, Maryland, nearly 300 miles away. For the next 6 days, the victims remained a mystery. Literally, they had nothing to go on.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, and this is 1976.
yeah.
No cell phone, no social media, no nothing. You've got nothing to go on except some brand of clothing. For the next 6 days, the victims would remain a mystery. Then a call came in to the Bethesda police from a neighbor who was concerned. She was the neighbor of a well known man in the area. His name was William Bradford Bishop. He was a respected economist within the United States, like State Department, U.S. State Department. I don't know what that means. Respected uh, ec- economics. No, economic.
I think
What is the word?
you said it right
I know
already.
I did, and now I just want to say
Economist.
economist. Yeah, so I'm guessing he did something with money inside the State Department.
Okay.
Do you have any idea
I,
what this job would entail?
I mean, kind of say you're doing something with labor markets. I don't know.
Yeah,
You're in the State Department. I don't know.
yeah.
But the guy, you got to think
He was a government employee and had been for a while.
the way the government functions and its mechanisms and like who works where today
Hmm.
was very different in the
Yeah, that's a good point.
70s. You
Yeah,
know, the home Department of Homeland Security didn't even wasn't
exist.
invented till 2003. So,
Yeah,
you know, I don't know. I don't know what he did in the State Department.
something.
Something.
He did something. But overall, he had a highly respected job and he was high up in this. We're going to find out later that he had some special passport,
Diplomatic
a
passport.
diplomatic passport. Did you know what that was?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't. I had to look it up. So put a pin in it. We'll get to that in a minute. So this call would unravel one of the most disturbing murder cases in American history up until that point. This was kind of, we're going to find out we're dealing with a family annihilator here.
Yeah, it was 5 people dead.
Yeah. And it just wasn't a common thing at
Well,
the
and they're buried
time.
and burned, so
Yeah.
it's murder.
Yeah. Um, Lieutenant Joe of the Montgomery County Police was the first to arrive at the Bishop's home. He recalled walking up to the front steps and seeing small drops of blood on the porch. And this is done in the reenactment as
So the
well.
neighbor just calls for a well
Neighbor
check.
calls for a welfare check. And she says this family's usually, they travel a lot. Them being gone is not uncommon. But what is that normally they would have reached out to her and at bare minimum asked her to water the plants and take the newspapers off of the porch so that they weren't piling up. And she hadn't heard from them, and the newspapers had started to pile up on the porch. This is also a very well-to-do neighborhood. So people are paying attention to each other's yards, is what I'm saying. And so she just was concerned. And so he shows up and he's interviewed and he's like, notices blood on the porch. It's a little concerning, but the neighbor actually, according to Unsolved Mysteries, had a key. So he didn't have to get a warrant.
So you don't want a welfare check.
Not always. I've seen other
If you
things.
have reason to believe that
Yeah.
there does need to be a
Yeah, and he
welfare
said
check.
with the key, the newspaper piling up the blood, he
That's all
felt
that's all
that's
you
he
needed.
needed was to be able to enter into the home. So when he pushes the door open, he notices more blood throughout the foyer and up the stairs. And he reaches the top of the landing and says that he saw something that would stay with him for the rest of his career. The walls and ceilings were completely splattered with blood. He said in the interview there was hardly a place you could put your hand where there wasn't blood. I've been a police officer for 12 years, and this was the worst scene I had ever observed. Coming from a cop in the DC area.
Yeah.
So, at this point, at least again, according to the reenactment, he leaves the home and gets more people there.
Yeah. He's like, all right,
We got a crime scene on our hands.
got something to investigate.
Yeah. So moments later, police confirm what they had feared. The 5 victims found in North Carolina were the Bishop family. His wife, Annette, his mother, Lobita, I think that's how you say it, and their 3 sons, 14-year-old William, 10-year-old Brenton, and 5-year-old Jeffrey.
Just
I know.
horrible.
Yeah.
Just terrible.
And there was no sign of Brad Bishop himself. So the police have to ask, is he a victim or was he involved and is banished by choice?
Either way, you gotta find him.
Gotta find this guy. To his co-workers, we're gonna get a little background. Bishop was considered very brilliant. He'd graduated Yale, not an easy school to get into.
I mean, I got accepted.
You got accepted to
But
Yale?
I told him no.
You said no, thank you.
Harvard asked for me to come, and I was like, no.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all a lie. Just in
He's
case anyone was.
fluent in 5 languages.
That is impressive.
No joke.
Yeah.
And a foreign service officer who had spent many years working overseas. So this guy has got quite a resume. He's not working in DC by accident.
Well, the State Department does travel a lot.
Yeah. So a colleague who's actually interviewed on Unsolved Mysteries, his name was Roy, remembers seeing Bishop outside the State Department the day of the annual promotions list. Once again, Bishop had been passed over. We get no more information on what that means. So I don't know. I don't know if it was just like
a promotion.
A promotions within that department and he'd been passed over, and it made it sound like he had been passed over a couple of years in a row. And his buddy even says, hey man, I also didn't get selected for a promotion. why don't we go grab lunch? And he's like, actually, I think I'm going to go home. I feel like I'm coming down with the flu. I'm not feeling well.
I think he said something mean to his friend
He did
first.
say something mean to his friend first, but I didn't write that down. So
I
thanks for.
just was like, that's kind of a
Well, he
douche.
made it sound like,
Well, you're not me or something like
yeah,
that.
like,
You're
well,
not
it's
as
not
smart as me.
surprising that you got past it, but the problem is that I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he says, okay, like, head on home. Why don't we get lunch later this week or something and talk about it? And he leaves, Bishop leaves the office. And that would be the last time he'd ever be seen at his office ever again.
That was the day
Yep.
that his family was found later that day, right?
I believe so.
Or the next
The
day.
next day, yeah. So that night, March 1st, 1976. Yeah, because they found March 2nd. Yeah, so we're on the night of March 1st. Bishop makes a series of strange but yet very deliberate stops. He withdraws several $100s from his bank account. He goes to a local hardware store and purchases a gas can, a shovel, a ballpoint pen, or no, not a ballpoint pen. That's different. This is a ball pen hammer, which is a hefty hammer, and leaves. I was actually watching this with our daughter, and she was like, shouldn't this purchase be a red flag? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you might as well throw zip ties and bleach on there and call it a
And
day.
duct
Duct
tape
tape, but
and plastic
unfortunately, there is
wrapping.
no database for men buying creepy things at hardware stores because that could also be for another project.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be working on your
A hammer and a shovel is a normal
normal
purchase at
thing.
a
Yeah.
hardware store.
And then he goes and fills up the gas can at the gas station. The gas cans do not come already pre filled with gasoline, just in
No,
case
they
anyone
don't.
didn't know that until today or
You
when they
didn't
were
know that.
doing their notes. And then around 8 p.m., returns
You
home.
just think that stores have
Well,
canisters
first
of
I was
gas
watching it
just sitting on the
in
shelf
the reenactment.
inside.
It's on the top shelf in the reenactment. It looks really light, and I was like, that's a dumb place to store a whole gas can of gasoline. That looks fake. And then later in the reenactment, he's at the gas station filling it up, and I'm like, oh. So I looked it up, and no, the gas cans don't come
Can you
pre-filled.
imagine a store with like 30 or let's say 20 gas canisters all filled with gas? You can imagine how that place would smell in
I
that corner of
didn't
like Walmart.
even think about it. They put those. They have tire stores, which are more offensive than the smell of gasoline,
No, only to you.
and those are all in one spot.
It's a tire
I don't know. They sell oil at the store.
in an enclosed thing. Oil doesn't smell like gasoline.
Well, maybe it doesn't smell when it's enclosed either. I don't know.
Guys are in the back smoking their cigarettes in the 70s. I need a new gas can.
Okay. Well, I just was putting it out there in case anyone else thought that the reenactment was stupid by putting it up on the top shelf and then making it look
In
really
case
light. I
it
was like,
tips over and
this guy doesn't know how to act. He's making it very clear that that's an empty gas can. Because
some
it
short
was.
person is grabbing it. Oh, it dumped all
Yeah,
over
that would
me.
be a terrible place to put all the gasoline at on the top shelf. It's
Yeah.
a middle shelf
If it
item.
was full, yeah, it would be.
It wasn't full
But
though.
it's not ever.
No. Okay, so before, yeah, if we're being a little silly tonight or this afternoon, guys, whenever you're listening to this, it's because this is about to get really dark. So we're trying to lighten the mood here a little bit. So he gets home at 8 o'clock, give or take, and investigators believe that this is when the massacre began. His wife Annette was likely attacked first. She was found beside a book she had been reading. Then the children. And finally, they believe that last of all, his mother. I did some research. It sounds like the mother might have been out walking the dog when he first arrived home and came home at the end. That's just And
I
again, something I found on a different uh,
It's
article.
wild.
The crazy part to me is that they were all bludgeoned to death with a hammer. This was not like, I don't, killing is killing. I get that. But mode of death says a lot about a person. And that just seems insane to me.
Yeah, I don't like to talk about that. I don't. I that's to me, it's the worst. One of the worst.
Yeah. Yeah. You have been in the world of true crime. Anytime something big has happened, the Watts case, the Susan Powell, like you, if I try to talk about those, you're like, this is my line.
And honestly, I don't even like talking about this case. When I
Yeah.
saw it, I don't like it. I don't like these family annihilator cases.
Well,
It
they're
just
terrible. It goes
it
against everything that you know to be true
yeah,
in your life.
it disgusts me. It makes me feel queasy and uneasy.
Hmm.
And then the thought of how he did it, I don't even want to say it because I think it is hands down just
Deplorable.
like if there's a movie and that stuff, I can't watch it.
Yeah.
I can't. I just can't. I hate
Yeah.
it.
You've never watched any of the
No,
documentaries about
I hate it.
other family annihilators.
Nope,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
So no one even had a chance to fight back. No one had like defensive wounds or anything. So afterwards, it is believed that Bishop then loads up the bodies of the family into the back of the family station wagon and then begins a 200-mile drive south towards the remote woods of North Carolina. There, he dug a shallow grave, poured gasoline, and set the graves ablaze before driving away into the night.
I've
Another thing on my side research, I found out that this fire was actually spotted likely much quicker than I think Bishop would have realized because there was a watchtower. So my grandparents did this for a while. One summer, they go stay at these watchtowers out in the woods, and their only job is to watch for smoke or flames to help prevent forest fires.
yeah to help get on top of
Yeah,
a forest
and so
fire.
this was spotted by one of those people. So it was caught very quickly.
It what doesn't make sense. Why bury them then burn them?
I don't know. I
That's
will
just
say that
weird.
it seems weird to me too. Maybe just the thought that it would help get rid of any evidence.
Again, what you eliminated your whole family
Yeah.
when they identify these people. The first person they're looking for
You.
is the last person of the family.
Yes.
So I don't. I just thought it was weird that he buries them, then burns them on top.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like a lot.
But at the end of the day, can we even ration?
Yeah, we're
Can we
trying to
even
make
try to?
rational decisions from a man who just several hours ago bludgeoned his entire family and his mother
Yeah, his own mom. Wasn't
to
her mom. It
no.
was
It
his.
was
At
his
least
mother.
that's what they said in
Yeah.
Unsolved
Hmm.
Mysteries. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, well, I'm trying to make sense of a completely irrational
Yeah,
person.
and I
So
left out some of the interview of his friend because his friend makes some kind of snarky, disparaging remarks about the victims. And I thought it was gross.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. So, yeah, the he like insinuated that they had demasculized him.
Well, it, I don't care what you
I
say.
was like, it's just victim blaming is not going to work in this
Yeah, I mean,
situation. Yeah. So 17 days later, March 18th, a ranger in the Great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee discovers Bishop's abandoned station wagon. Inside, there were traces of dried blood, a blanket, and the receipt from the hardware store. But Bishop himself was gone. And that's kind of where Unsolved Mysteries leaves us. We are given description, kind of that he had this diplomat
diplomatic.
passport, which basically allows you to be treated some kind of
It's much
way.
easier to get into countries, certain countries,
Yeah, you
a lot of
kind of it's
countries.
like when you go to the airport now and they have pre-check, it's kind of like the pre-check of passports.
Oh, okay.
But it's issued no one can, you have to be a part of the government working under that to be able to. But it also, this is one thing I found out. It actually also automatically makes it so that if you are in certain countries under business, like they're on behalf of the United States, you cannot be charged with a crime.
Yes,
That is crazy.
yeah. There is reasons for it.
Oh, are there?
Yeah, but we're not going to get
We're
into
not going to
that.
get into those right now. That's more
Yes,
the CIA, which we talked about last week.
but yes.
Yeah. So, okay. If anyone has seen them, please call in. You ready for your update?
Yeah, I mean, well, you got to think. This guy literally had a 17-day head start
Yeah.
on these people.
So I've got two updates. We kind of get an update from about 2 years later. So 2 years goes by, no signs of this guy. And then, and take this with a grain of salt,
Yep.
in 1978, Bishop's former colleague, who was also interviewed,
Who was the guy that he ran?
yes,
This
had
is the
ran
same
into
guy.
the same guy. So
Same
the
colleague.
thread is, yeah, the same colleague and friend that was the last person to see him before he went off the rails, says that he is traveling in Italy inside a crowded bus station restroom, and he spots a bearded man washing his hands. The reenactment, you guys, the reenactment actor, his hair and wig, makeup, whatever facial hair, fake facial hair he has on, looks like these people went down to the Halloween spirit store the day after.
He looks like the Geico
Yes, the Geico
caveman.
caveman.
Yeah,
Poorly done.
I thought it
Yeah.
was great.
I was
I'm here for it.
I was laughing. So at first Roy sees this man and dismisses the thought, but then as he turns, he says something clicks. And I will give you the quote because I think it's important. Beneath the beard and worn clothes, he believed he saw the face of Brad Bishop. He approached him and said, "Brad, is that you?" The man froze, panicked, and yeeted himself out of there. Shows this man running off into the streets of Italy. And Roy chases him outside, watching him disappear down the cliffs away from the city. And according to some, this was the last, quote, credible sighting of Bradford Bishop. Some believe that Bishop used his State Department connections and his fancy passport to reinvent himself overseas. Others believe that he might have taken his own life in the wilderness somewhere in the Appalachians. And then, update as of today. In 2014, the FBI released a new age progressed image and DNA test of a John Doe killer in Alabama hit and run in 1981, a man who bore a striking resemblance to Bishop, but the DNA came back negative. Countless leads brought authorities to Europe, including sightings in Italy, Sweden, and Switzerland. The FBI is adamant, though, that the only credible lead in 50 years is a lead in North Carolina. Someone spotted him and his dog. All other leads they don't consider credible, according to the FBI. And the case remains unsolved as of today.
That's the wild part.
Mhm.
This guy was never caught.
Never caught, you guys. What do you think? Do you think that he had that 17-day start and got out and was able to completely reinvent himself with?
I have no idea. I can't
Yeah.
make sense of this guy.
Yeah.
I will say it's the 70s, so it is
Mhm.
much easier to disappear.
Yep.
And then by the
It was
time
way easier too to even make up fake names and fake identity or like
get fake IDs,
yeah.
everything, right? And if
You
he
speak multiple languages.
and on top of that, again, it's the 70s, so like tracking people's movements was much more difficult.
Hmm.
So
Especially when you get started almost 20 days later.
that's the other part. He had a massive head start,
Yeah.
but would he could have very also just gone into the woods and killed
Yeah.
himself, and over years and years all the evidence of his
I mean,
demise
the
is gone.
Appalachian Mountains is no joke.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably places that people don't go for years and years. So is it
Hmm.
possible? I mean, we were there. We literally saw two bears, so
Yeah.
possible. I have no idea. I don't know. What do you think?
Um, I don't know. Here's the thing. This to me didn't just happen because he didn't get a promotion. I don't think he quote unquote snapped. You don't annihilate your entire family without some wherewithal and some forethought happening. Now, again, because this case is still open, I don't know anything about this man's history leading up to this. There's nothing available. So, to me, if he potentially planned all of this, I imagine he planned a way out. It wouldn't surprise. I don't think that guy in Europe with the uh, caveman look was that guy.
It could have just been a homeless guy with a mental
Yeah, and then you've got
thing.
some guy yelling at you that your name is, Bishop and
Yeah.
is chasing you down the streets. I'd run too.
But it's also a guy that worked with him closely and knew who he was.
Yeah, but he
So,
also said beneath the beard and the clothing. That's a stretch. So, I mean, yeah. The only thing I can say is if he did decide to go on and he's been able to live his life for the next however many years, you know what I always say about people like this? I hope he always cuts his nails too short. I hope he always stubs his pinky toe. And I hope he gets paper cuts in the worst places.
yeah, I mean, that's the only part that I hate is
Yeah.
if he did get away, like, let's say he didn't off himself.
Yeah.
It just is terrible that he then got to go on and continue to live without
Hmm.
ever serving any type of justice
Yeah.
for a horrific crime.
And senseless. There was no life insurance. This man had no reason to
You
do
killed
this.
you.
I don't even know if he was having an affair, like maybe we see in Chris Watts, like, or the Peterson case. Like, there was nothing, at least that we are aware of, that indicated a motive of doing this other than the fact that you are just a terrible human being.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
Well, sorry. I wish I
unfortunately.
had a better update. I was literally shocked when I saw that was the update.
I know. I actually looked this one up too because
Yeah.
I was really shocked.
And I
It's
will
like,
say, I will post the pictures. He is still on the FBI's most wanted list. They have age progressed photos, all different kinds of ways he could look. There's an active tip line for this. So I will put it out there. But the chances are that he's even still alive. He'd be
I
like
think,
in his early 90s
as you
or
say,
something.
I thought I saw something that he'd be 90 by now.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
uh,
What kind of story do you have for us?
I got an interesting one.
Okay.
All right. We start out in Spokane, Washington, June 4th, 1989, 1:05 a.m. Some people are driving along a road and they spot a body in the road. Stop to help. He's barely alive. Turns out it is 13-year-old Russell Evans. And in the reenactment, he like cries out,
Mm-hmm.
"Brian, help me." And they call, he gets transported to the hospital. He gets to the hospital, they say around 1:30. His parents show up. They're there. The um, medical staff does everything they can do, but unfortunately at 9:10 a.m.
And they worked on him all
Yeah.
night. Yeah.
But in my side ratio, like he had a broken back. He was hemorrhaging internally. Like it's amazing he lasted that long. But
Breaks my heart. His
yeah,
parents, There's a lot of worse fears parents have, but getting that call in the middle of the night,
Yeah,
that's one of them.
that's pretty bad. And yeah, like I said, unfortunately, 9:10 a.m. he passes away. So, the parents are interviewed. It is a terrible tragedy. Robert Stacks comes back and says, this is a tragedy. Parents hate to have to do this, but the parents have no idea what happened and why. Police come out and they investigate and they say this is a hit and run, right? But the reason this story is brought to Unsolved Mysteries is
Mm.
because the parents don't believe it was a hit and run. They think there was something else behind it. So we get told his story. He's a 13-year-old middle schooler who played basketball. This kid was 6'3" already at
At
13.
13, boys don't stop growing until they are what, high school
Yeah,
ish?
I could not believe when they said he was 6'3".
Yeah.
He loved playing basketball. He played pickup basketball almost every
I
day.
don't think he had a choice. If you're that tall,
He
automatically you are forced into basketball.
One, he said he wanted parents stuff like he wanted to play for UCLA
Mm-hmm.
and play in the NBA. And clearly at 6'3" at 13, you've got
Well,
a
and he seemed to
good
have also a love for it. Like it
yeah,
wasn't just like I'm being forced to play. He genuinely, they were interviewed saying he played basketball morning, noon, and night, pick up games every weekend with his buddies. Like that's
yeah.
what he was doing.
So he's got a good shot
Mm-hmm.
to make it to the NBA. So June 3rd, the day before, or technically the evening before, he's out with his friend Aaron, and even Aaron is introduced. He's interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
He talks, to us, and they're at a park with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're there, some older teenagers come up and start hassling him, and they hassle Aaron about uh, his girlfriend. They don't give specifics about
No.
this, but they kind of start getting in a little scuffle. Uh, Russell gets involved. It's like, hey, whatever. And supposedly it dies out
It
and they
breaks up,
leave.
yeah.
But they threaten him as later. It's like, you better watch out or sick, I'm going to stick my friends on you or something like that.
Okay.
Right? Because at least in the reenactment, it appears that there's a couple of them
Was
and
there
there's
one of
a
these
lot of
kids
them.
smoking in the reenactment? I
I
am
don't think so. But I don't know.
98% sure that I was like, there's a kid smoking on this bench with these other kids. Like, I don't know if he was supposed to be one of the bad kids or something, but
I don't know.
I got to go back and look.
So they left the park. Russell hangs out at a friend's house for the evening. Then he says he calls his dad and says, "I'm on my way home." I'm a little. It is a different world. He's 13, but he's out till midnight, past
We're going to
midnight.
find out in a minute that he's not the only one.
No, as he's walking home around midnight, he runs into another friend, Sade Madison, and he's out on his these kids are just But it is June. It's summertime. It was a
Well, and I
different
will
world
say,
back then.
if it's Washington in the summertime, it's only technically been dark for
Yeah.
like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Like it doesn't get dark till after 9 o'clock in the Pacific
Oh, June.
Northwest.
That's like 10.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So,
So Russell and Sade, they chit chat. He tells Sade about the encounter they had at the park that, they almost got into a fight.
yeah, that's big news to tell your other
Yeah,
buddy about.
especially when you're 13,
Yeah.
right? So then he's like, hey, I got to get home. He's like, all right. So he leaves at 12:30.
And he only lived what?
Doesn't say.
Oh, I'm 98% sure it did. But they said like how long the walk was going to be to get home. I think it was like, okay. Ben says no. Now I'm going to have to look it up.
So,
Okay.
all right. So he heads off. That's the last person to see him that evening until the people find him laying on the road just past 1 a.m. The police are interviewed in this also.
Yeah.
And they say they investigate the crime scene. What they believe happened is he's there, a car hits him. They say they hit him so hard he got knocked out of his shoes
Yeah.
and shoelaces.
Yeah.
And
And
said there
how
was other debris in there. And he went 75 feet.
75 feet,
Yeah.
you guys.
So
That's a lot of feet.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So Dr. George Lindholm, he's a forensic pathologist. He's interviewed. He says, listen, all the bruising, all the scraping, all that is consistent with a motor vehicle accident. So the police do believe this is a hit and run. Obviously, they don't just say hit and run, done. They want to find, well, who hit him?
Yeah, that's still a crime. You can't
Yeah,
you can't hit and run, but you definitely can't hit and run a human being and then leave the scene. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's the police's version.
Hmm.
So it just appears he was walking home. It's almost one. Someone hits him
Yeah.
and kills him. And clearly hit him so hard it knocked him out of his shoes.
Yeah.
The dad's then interviewed and says, no, listen, I saw my son. I saw the bruising, and it looked like he'd been in a fight. He said his shoes and shoelaces were up to supposedly, the dad says, over 80 feet away from where his body was. There was also 3 pools of blood up to 50 feet away from where his son was found at. So if you're hit and you go that far, why are you leaving 3 pools of blood? Valid questions,
Yeah.
right? And they did get a copy of the official police report, and the shoes and the shoelaces were separated,
Yeah, that
which
is weird.
is very strange.
I've heard of people coming out of their shoes, but I've
Yes,
never heard of shoelaces coming untied and completely out of the shoe.
I will say this, and I speculate. They show a picture
Hmm.
of the shoe and the shoelaces, and the shoes appear to be like small, where there's only like 2 or 3 holes for
They look like
shoelaces.
old kids. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
there's like 4 holes for those old kids. Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that shoe. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no clue. So they parents went back to the scene with the lady that actually found him. They're trying to find. They just don't think that it was just a random hit and run.
Yeah.
So they are. You see the reenactment of them with this lady, Sandy Ferris, who's the one that found him, and she points out like where the body was, where supposedly the pools of blood were. They
Yeah.
even say in one of the pictures from the crime scene photos, there's blood on the shoelace. So how do you get blood on the shoelace when you're hit
I
at such
will
a high
say
speed?
this: if you've ever come up on a bad accident, there's a lot of fluids that come off a vehicle or out of a vehicle to me that can look very much like, is that blood or is that oil? Does that make sense? Like, it stains very much the same to just the layperson. If you were looking at it, I don't know if I could distinguish between the two.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I don't really see. I didn't get to see the pictures or any of that,
Yeah.
so I don't know. These are all concerns the parents are raising. They hired a second pathologist. He looked over everything, and he actually agreed with the initial ruling that this does appear to be a motor vehicle accident. He was hit by a car. But he does say he thinks that the some of the bruising appears to be from a fight. The dad doesn't think, he says the bruising on his back wasn't consistent with a bumper, that it was all over the place. So he
Hmm.
thinks the dad believes he was hit with either a baseball bat or a 2x4, beaten with that before. So, um, they parents' versions, they think what happened. He was walking home. These kids saw him. They jumped
The
him.
same kids from the park. Yeah.
Yes, they jumped him. They beat him, and then ran him over. And
And also ran him over. Okay.
yes, right.
Yeah.
So the police, they come back. They say, "Listen, we found these kids. We interviewed them. They took a polygraph. They passed with flying colors. So, and it appears the police did do an extensive investigation, because the parents also say that Brian was yelling when he was found. I'm sorry, did I say Brian? Russell was found. yelling
Yelling
the name,
Brian.
Brian, help me.
Yeah.
That's what the lady that found him, she testifies to that he was
Yeah.
yelling. And that as the police were there and they was loading him up, she looked up and saw a boy in white shorts running up the hill. She tried to tell the police, but they were preoccupied
They were
with the
trying to
scene.
save this kid's life. Yeah.
Yeah, with the scene. The parents say that Russell did have a friend named Brian, and he told the parents that he was wearing white shorts and a white t-shirt that night. But the police did question him also, and he didn't supposedly denied owning a pair of white shorts and said he wasn't there. That's all we get about Brian. We have no idea who this Brian kid is.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other weird part is when the mom arrived at the hospital, she's there, she's asking, trying to get some information.
This part was weird to me.
And the receptionist or someone there said that someone by the name of Brian had already called asking about Russell's condition.
Mhm.
So that's everything that Unsolved Mysteries leaves us with.
Okay.
So,
Any
that's where they leave us with. Was he actually killed, or
Was this a hit and run, or was
was this
this
intentional,
yeah, was this
or was this an accident and then someone did something terrible and just left the scene of the
Yeah.
accident? I mean, at the end of the day, it appears that both disagree that a vehicle was used, but what
Mhm.
happened before and was it intentionally used is up for debate, and the
Yeah.
parents believe so.
Okay.
All right, update. Technically, according to the parents, it is still unsolved.
Okay.
I did find some updates. 1996, a witness did come forward, and I found the news article from this. And she stated that she heard a boy bragging and admitting that they did beat him up and then they ran him over. So, unfortunately, that testimony never led to anything. I read another article. So, I read two articles to kind of conflict. The
Okay.
1996 article conflicts that the DA, a deputy, attorney, what a DA says that the police have not formed enough evidence to bring it forth to the prosecution
For murder charges or hit and run?
for any of it.
Okay.
I read another article from only a few years ago that the police did present some type of evidence to the DA, but they declined, thinking that it was not enough. So, unfortunately, there's not a lot out there because technically it's kind of closed, but the police say it's a hit and run, but it appears that they still are willing to look at evidence. And clearly it
I
is,
mean, that means something. You know what I mean? Like
but
that.
technically it's not closed because they don't know who did it.
Yes.
So it's not really I guess what I'm saying is the
No
police
one's
haven't
ever been
closed the case in
convicted
the
of a
fact
hit and
of
run.
they know who did it and they brought
Yeah.
that person to justice. It's still, and what I'm saying is it does appear that the police are still open to theories
Okay.
that all of this might happen. Unfortunately, both of Russell's parents have passed.
So no one's fighting
He
for
has a
this.
sister who was
Okay.
5 years old at the time, and I read an article from only a few years ago, she's still pushing and trying to get, right now, she says there's evidence still sitting there, but the Spokane Police Department doesn't have a cold case unit. She says she's written every city councilman to try to fund a cold case unit to test stuff and to reopen this investigation.
Even if the city of Spokane doesn't the State Department have one?
But
Yeah.
so
Okay,
her
well,
sister's still
I will
fighting.
reach out to her via as much as I can on social media and stuff like that. We will share her information. We're sharing this story
Yeah,
now.
I read another article that it appears that multiple people, there was witnesses supposedly a few weeks later stating that they saw someone gun and aim for him. So
Mm.
it does appear that this was,
It does appear that there's at least enough evidence to keep the theory going that this might have been malicious and intentional.
And it does appear, I will say, the police don't do themselves the best favor in the episode. They kind of come across that they think it's just a hit and run, but
Hmm.
also with things I read, it does appear that the police are more than willing to open any angle of that.
Yeah.
So the sister is still fighting,
Okay.
and
Is there
hopefully,
an active tip line or anything?
no, not that I found,
Okay. I'll do some research and see if I can find one.
but technically, I mean, it is unsolved because no, even
Yeah.
let's say it was just a drunk person driving, that
Yeah,
person
that
has never
still
been brought
needs to be
to
brought to justice.
justice.
And how you hit someone to the potential where they
You killed them,
killed them and they also moved 75 feet. There had to be damage to somebody's car. I will say this about this case. Somebody knows something. Whether somebody knows my grandpa or my dad or this person or my boss or whoever
which,
came to work on Monday morning with a damaged vehicle.
but if you beat the crap out of that kid and then ran him over,
Yeah. Oh,
there
yeah.
wouldn't be
There wouldn't
damage.
be damage. You are correct.
So they can say 75 feet, but maybe the parents, maybe they are right. Because here's the thing, I'm not saying one way or the other. I have
Yeah, did
no
these
idea.
guys rip his shoes off of him and threw
Maybe
him
there
away
was
so he couldn't run
a
away and there
massive
was a
fight in
fight?
the street, and it went down the street 75 feet,
Yeah.
and then you beat him to the ground, and then you ran him over. Then yeah,
But then again, somebody knows something
somebody,
because
but
this,
someone did say something in
yeah.
'96. Someone came forward and said, "I heard this."
Yeah, but there was more than one kid involved in that crime.
Yes.
If that was what happened, it was a group of kids, which means there are adults walking around today with that knowledge. And I will tell you this, in the world that we live in, nobody stays silent forever.
So, for the sake of him, his parents, his sister, I hope that
Yeah, if you know anything, if you're from the Spokane area, please share this story. Please send any tips, and I'll post all of that information as well on our social media to try to get more light on this story. Because if there is even stuff to be tested as well,
that's what
let's
the
get it
sister
done.
says,
Yeah.
and it appears that she still lives in the area. So,
Okay.
and unfortunately for her now, she's lost her brother. Her parents have
My
now
goodness.
passed away. So,
Yeah.
I think her dad passed away in the late '90s. Her mom was 2011, 2014, something like that,
Okay.
around that time. So, that's my story.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that terrible story. Okay. Are you ready to hear about another treasure?
God, these buried treasure stories.
This is a world that I'm fascinated about, but know nothing and have no desire to be a part of.
Here's my question: has anyone actually ever found buried treasure?
Yes.
Besides, I read about one story of a
Well, I
guy that
watched,
found a shipwreck.
yeah, we watched that entire documentary about the treasure hunt. Do you remember that? Did
No,
you watch it with me? The
uh,
one on Netflix?
I think it was a different boyfriend.
It was just recently. Um, so yeah, treasure is still found today. Whether it is found in large, vast quantities, I don't think so as much.
The only person I know, the only story I have ever heard of finding treasure is Thomas Gates.
No. We've
After he
heard,
found,
we've also heard of the treasure of One Eyed Willie,
that is true too.
who like, up
Cannon
in
Beach, Oregon.
Cannon Beach, Oregon, a group of kids had a day off from school and who knows where the
They
parents
were
were.
about to lose their home.
Yeah. Who knows where the parents were? They went under the city.
They found those robbers that had gotten shot
Mm-hmm.
and escaped jail in
Yep.
Tillamook, Oregon, or wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they found a entire ship full of treasure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know that guy, and then I know the guy. He stole the Declaration of Independence. He found the map on the back, and he
Mm-hmm.
found a massive treasure underneath what, New York?
Think so.
I don't remember what city, but he found that massive, the Knights Templar treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only people I know that have found treasure.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you about Adam's treasure. And I'm going to start with what I believe is a little Robert Stack's poetic shade.
As long as a man believes there's a treasure to be found, he'll be spurred on by the belief that he'll be the one to find it. It seems that people have been forever obsessed with the prospect of uncovering legendary buried treasure. This never-ending quest to strike it rich has fueled a million dreams, each with a common goal of instant wealth.
Yeah, Robert kind of gives Ben's basic feeling about treasure hunters that you always think you're going to be that one. What was the famous quote from like one of the first ones we did? It's just 2 more feet or something like that.
He just pretty much says, "You got these guys trying to strike." I mean, you
Yeah,
played the clip, but they want to strike a rich, and they want, I don't know.
yeah. As we all like, I would love to find buried treasure, but again, I don't have the energy, and I especially do not have the desire to be out in the Arizona wilderness looking for everything. Because
Here's the,
once again, this is here in Arizona.
I guess what I'm saying is, this is what, the fifth or sixth one,
Yeah.
at least.
Uh huh.
It appears that in the 80s, these stories and legends are going around, and people are still in it.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, you don't hear these stories and legends anymore
Yeah.
talked about or a big deal.
I
And maybe
think
it's
it's
just
just
because
a
I'm not in that
hobby.
world. And I'm totally for the
Yeah.
hobby. I'm all about the hobby.
I've always wanted one of those beepy things that you take on the beach,
I have
a metal
always thought those are
detector.
kind of cool.
Exactly. So we're halfway there.
Yeah, but it's not because I thought that some pirate, Jack Sparrow buried something on the beach
It's
here.
because I'm going to assume that someone lost their wedding ring on the beach or something, or their change fell out of their pocket, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm actually fascinated with over in, I think in parts of England and Ireland and stuff like that, people are taking these insanely strong magnets and magnet fishing. So they're throwing them into the Thames and these old world locations and throwing these insane magnets in there and pulling things up. I have seen a guy pull up a thing and he found a old metal box that had a bunch of silver coins in it that looked like they were from the 1800s. Not necessarily a full on treasure, but
So that's
it's
something.
something. But they do pull out, I mean, bikes and old weapons and different things like that. That looks like a fun hobby.
Yeah, I'm here
Yeah.
for it. All right, let's
Okay,
get
but
into
this story begins in September of 1864. Ba-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding. When two men stumble out of the desert and into the care of soldiers at Fort Apache. One of them was barely alive, a prospector only known as Adam. While he recovers, Adam tells the army surgeon a tale so extraordinary few believed it. He said that he and 20 miners had been led through the mountains by a man named Gotcha here.
I'm sorry, what?
It's Gotcha here,
Gotcha here. Okay.
which to me makes me think from the moment this guy said that this is not a real story. But it's literally
Oh,
spelled
I got some thoughts on
Gotchere. Gotcha here. A guide raised by the Apache, and Gotcha here promised to show the men a canyon filled with gold in exchange for exactly, here's your list: 2 horses, 1 saddle, two $50 gold pieces, and a red silk bandana. So this man is saying that this guy offered to show these men rivers of gold.
but he doesn't want any.
Mm-mm.
They do say why he doesn't.
Yeah. When the miners begin to doubt the guide, he promises them just a little bit further and he leads them
Just 2 more
through
feet.
just 2 more feet, leads them through a narrow hidden passage, a zigzagging canyon that opened into a secluded valley. And there, cascading from a 20-foot high waterfall, was a stream of gold. Gold, that Adam tells us, was as big as acorns.
No, it wasn't.
Miners made camp beside the stream, agreeing to share their new fortune
That always goes
equally.
well with a
Yeah.
bunch of
Everyone's just a
cowboys
bunch of
in the
shaking their hands.
in
Yeah.
the Wild West.
Yeah. For a time, everything goes well until a group of Apache warriors appear, led by a local chieftain named Nana. Chief Nana warned Adams that he was on sacred land and that none of his men were to go above the waterfall. That was the one rule. You can stay below the waterfall, you can get what you need, and then you need to vacate. But anyone caught crossing the line would be dealt with in death. Adams agreed, but gold fever has a way of clouding people's judgment. One morning, a miner chasing his horse wandered above the falls and found a nugget the size of a hen's egg. So we're significantly bigger than an acorn now. So, of course, word starts spreading quickly, and the men were secretly climbing up into the canyon walls, gathering as much gold as they could carry. And they were, within days, it was said that they had collected more than 300 pounds of gold, with worth over $1 million back in the 1800s. So today, adjusted for inflation, it would be astronomical. They hid this in the hearth of the campfire, sealed inside an old coffee pot, as one does.
Well, we always bury our gold. That's what
Mhm.
we do. We've learned from these stories is that when you find gold, you bury it.
Well, this was gold they weren't supposed to have.
Okay.
This was gold that they were going above the waterfall to get. That was a no-no. So they were hiding it because of that reason.
Yeah, you gotta hide your gold, man.
Well, Chief Nunn kept his promise. When Adams and his partner Davison returned from a nearby hunt, they found their camp silent and the men had all been massacred. When Adams and his partner Davis returned, from the cliffs above, sorry, excuse me. I was reading my notes a second time in a row. From the cliffs above, Adams could only watch as the Apache warriors vanished back into the mountains. That night, under the cover of darkness, the two men fled. Days later, they collapsed in the desert where the soldiers of Fort Apache found them. Adams would go on to spend the rest of his life, the man who was already there once, trying to find the canyon again, but never could.
Well, maybe if you didn't bury your
He
gold and you actually
died
took it.
penniless, still chasing the memory of what he once saw.
Okay.
Over time, a railroad man named John Mitchell became obsessed with the story in the 1920s and followed every rumor that he could find, carefully writing down all of his discoveries. Though he also never found the treasure, his notes became the foundation for all modern searches. Decades later,
Exactly.
in the
Ding,
1980s,
ding.
two men, Ron and Mick, took up the quest. They Ron is a camping guide and a historian, and Mitch studied Mitchell's notes, the early 1920s guy, and compared them to modern maps. He discovered many rivers and landmarks had had their names changed since the 1800s.
So let's get this straight.
Mm-hmm.
This is where my problem comes.
Yeah, I know.
So Mitchell
Mm-hmm.
is the guy from the 20s.
Yes. John Mitchell from the 20s.
He did all these writings of this story.
Never found anything, though.
But it appears that this story that Unsolved Mysteries is telling us
Mm-hmm.
is from the writings of John Mitchell,
Mm-hmm.
who wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just possible that
Mm-hmm.
this guy made this up.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have no other resources
Nope.
of this story except for the guy that wrote it 60 years later,
Mm-hmm.
supposedly,
Yeah.
and wasn't there.
I mean, I guess maybe if Adams, because he continued to, according to this, went on to search for
according
this
to
treasure.
Mitchell.
Yeah, but he died penniless and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe there's some records of the crazy man down the
Or
street.
Mitchell wrote that, all
Yeah.
that he died penniless.
Yeah.
We have no idea. But that's the whole quest is from these guys, the prospectors that are interviewed, are chasing the notes from a guy that wasn't there who's retelling the story.
Exactly. So their research points them to Eagle Creek, which is a rugged area 200 miles north of Tucson, which would be like Phoenix area?
It depends. Phoenix is like northwest.
Yeah, I don't know. So in January of 1990, these two men make their own way into that canyon. They did find a narrow entrance that twisted through the cliffs, just as Adams had described. There was even a dry cascade where there was once a waterfall. Nearby, they found remnants of a cabin, rusted tools, and a section of old railroad track. For a moment, they even believed they were standing in the very spot that Adams' men struck gold. But of course, despite their search and the excitement with each discovery, they never found a single trace of gold or the legendary
What?
coffee pot that is said to be buried beneath a hearth.
That
So, could John Mitchell, the railroad man who documented his own failed expeditions, have found the gold and then never told anyone?
no.
Or was the entire story simply a mirage in the desert and a prospector's dying dream and passed down and retold and has now just become legends?
Okay. All
So,
right. Update.
update.
Who found the treasure, Sierra?
Today, the legend of Lost Adams digging remains one of Southwest or Arizona's greatest mysteries.
It's still a mystery.
Historians still debate whether even this story is true or not.
Shocking.
Because, or like, believe that it's possible that a lot of historians believe that this was an example of frontier folklore shaped by greed, heat, depression, also helping to, continue just the lure of the wild, wild west.
Storytelling.
Yeah. Modern treasure hunters do though continue to search the Eagle Creek area, convinced that the gold is buried somewhere beneath the rocks and the sagebrush. Others have pointed out that even if there had at one point been any sort of gold there, that due to flash flood erosions and time in this region of the United States, all traces of anything there is long gone. So
It's not a thing.
some think the truth died with Adam himself, a man forever haunted by a canyon of gold that he could not find a second time. And that's your
Not a
update.
very good Wild Westman if you can't find your way back
Well,
to
isn't
where
that
you
wild bananas that he went there once and couldn't find his way back?
were. Yeah, that's what makes me think it's not true.
If this was
These
a
guys in the
legitimate
Wild West.
outdoorsman, yeah,
Yeah.
those are things. I get that your guide got you there the first time, but also you would have been able to get there again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, you guys, that is it. That's season 3, episode 15. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and Ben. If you want to, this is your cue. You may exit stage left. If not, you are welcome to hang around for a little bit of chitty chat and the part of the episode where I ask Ben a question. Okay, Benjamin,
Sierra.
if you had to work at Disneyland on a ride or an attraction, which one would you pick?
It doesn't look fun on any of them.
Says the most. Yeah, you are not a social Disney. You are not a Disney person as far as like the character and embodiment of Disney. But you have to pick a ride or an attraction that you have to work as an employee. Which one are you picking?
Rise of the Resistance. Because you actually, I mean, if you're going to have to be do something.
Yeah, the people at Rise of Resistance in Disney World in Florida are amazing.
We're awesome.
Disneyland, 2 thumbs
Terrible.
down. Yeah.
Yeah. If you've ever ridden that ride, like part of being in line is a ride. Anyways, most people probably know, but that's what I was saying is we went on it in
Mhm.
Florida and then we went on it here in Disneyland. And the way the workers worked it in Florida
Mhm.
made it a lot of fun just getting to the ride.
Yeah, they're the bad guys.
Yes. And the ones in Disneyland just worked it as workers, and it kind of ruins the lead up to it because the whole
Yeah.
lead up,
Is that you yourself are a prisoner to the bad guys.
yeah,
Yeah. And you're getting
and they were
broken out.
terrible at it.
The ones in Florida treated you.
They were yelling at you like it was a
Yeah,
lot
it
of
was a
fun.
lot of fun.
They made it fun.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to work a ride, I would just prefer not to. But if I had to,
Yeah.
I would rather at least do something where you actually make it entertaining
Yeah.
and fun for the people. Because
Yeah.
everyone else is just standing there. And like, how many in your group? Okay, this, like that. That's not fun. But that one, while you're in line, the workers actually have to like attempt to do that or Haunted Mansion, because Haunted Mansion's awesome. So,
Yeah.
all right. What about you?
Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
But do you know why?
Why?
The costumes.
I knew it was going to be the
The
costume.
female employees at Disneyland, the costumes that they get to wear at Haunted Mansion are amazing. So that's why I would pick that one. And while you do some outside time in California, it does get hot. I can't imagine being like in the outdoor roller coasters and stuff like that. It's so hot in the summer. I'd be miserable working outside like that. But
The only thing about Haunted Mansion and several of the other rides, so like that one and the Buzz Lightyear one, you get onto that moving track and you get into the thing.
walking on that,
Can you imagine
yeah,
walking, constantly walking,
mm-hmm,
but never going anywhere?
mm-hmm. That's gotta.
And I'm sure that
They switch out
I was
every
going to say, I think
several
they
minutes.
switch out
Yeah.
like every 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So you're not doing it all day.
Yeah.
But that just walking in place.
Yeah, because we've ridden rides back to back and not seen the same employees a second time through.
But I will say this. I've also said I hate standing in one place. I would rather be moving. So, I mean, I guess maybe I would rather be that person. But at least I'm moving my feet instead of just standing.
And then the original Tower of Terror, the employees at the original Tower of Terror, the ones that specifically like give you the directions as the door is closing.
Yeah.
Those ones are fun too.
Yeah. Tower of Terror is a better one.
So, and there's also a part of me that I would love to, once my kids are all out of the house, I want to go work as either the fairy godmother or as one of the like evil queens or something like that. Those and Cruella de Vil, when they come out and interact with people, they are so funny.
Yeah, they do a good job.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, that is our episode, and Ben and I will be back here again next week, hopefully, if Ben can get his act together, to recap another episode of
Unsolved Mysteries.
Bye.